Hello everybody, Christian from Treasure Town here, and today I'm with Spencer from West Coast Varieties, one of my good friends, and he is an expert at searching for, like his name suggests, rare varieties. In front of us we have two interesting coins that are graded by PCGS that we're going to be talking about, but we also have the sort of main find for 1990, and I think I got a lot of people asking if they have a 1990 no S, but this is the proof without the S. It's going to be worth several $1,000s, but we're just going to talk to Spencer about sort of how he found this stuff and any context that's relevant on these 1990 coins and get a little bit of insight into varieties in general. So thanks for joining us, Spencer.
Thank you.
So which one? I was thinking we would start with the two graded coins, and I'll get a loop out so that we can look closely at them. But to start, do you have any commentary in general on these varieties from 1990, or even your process in terms of looking for them overall?
So what I tend to do is I'll go through tons of 1990 proof sets, and one of the obvious major varieties to look for is the No S penny. But one of the ones that are always overlooked are the nickel and the quarter. It's just really slight doubling, but strong enough that when you take the 8x loop or 10x loop, you could see a really strong spread in the date or the lettering, like trust, something like that. And yeah, I just go through set by set and get lucky enough to find some sometimes.
Cool. Well, maybe which coin should we start? I'll loop it. Maybe we go from the smallest denomination to the largest, but we're going to try to figure this out. Ben, the coin geek, he's always very good at looping coins. This is my first time, with the variety, and let's see how this
He inspired this.
Yes, exactly. And there we see up close what this 1990 double die obverse is going to look like. You can see that sort of clear shelving in the R and the U, and it's coming through really well at this magnification. But you mentioned that this is lesser known. Do you try to look for any variety that exists, or anything that's in the Cherry Picker's Guide, or how do you decide what to look for?
So for the most part, I do look for almost any variety that exists, especially in the Cherry Picker's Guide, because those are going to be the most recognizable varieties and ones that PCGS will attribute, as well as Kaneka. And when I'm going through each set, I kind of already have memorized pretty much the whole book on what coins to look for, mainly modern coins, but when I get sets like this in, I already know where to look on the coin. Like for the nickel, looking at trust is probably the easiest part for me, and I'll look at the R specifically because in the top left corner of the R, that little separation, I just know to recognize that as once I see it, I know everything else is going to be doubled on it.
Makes sense. And how many sets do you think you have to go through before you find one of these nickels or quarters?
I have probably gone through thousands of sets, and I've only found maybe 3 at most of the nickel and the quarter. And funny enough, this one actually came from you.
Yeah, yeah. No, I was thinking it sort of makes a good point. Like, I think it's. I was super happy when Spencer had gotten something because he paid me well for a bunch of proof sets that I sent him. I hadn't had the time to look through them, and honestly, this is a tougher one to find. I may not have even picked this one out, or it would have, I would have had to loop it at this detail to do so. So I was really excited, and to have somebody be able to, the alternative basically would have been that nobody would have seen it, and it would have sat somewhere and not been appreciated. So
it's definitely a funny occurrence and pretty rare because, again, like I said, I've gone through so many, and it just so happens to be in one of the 3 or 4 that maybe you sent me, and one of them so happened to be it. And I know I contacted you about it, and just to let you know, hey, I found this, and what do you want to do about it?
Yeah, no, I was well, we decided we could put it in a video. So,
yeah, exactly.
It's something exciting here. I'll just show you, this one's the Proof 69 Deep Cameo, a double die quarter, and we were looping it earlier. We'll see if we have to transition. It looks like we might be able to,
Perfect.
And super clear sort of, where you're looking at it, I would assume right in that 0 seems to be.
In the 0 and the second 9, so the 9 and 0, Those are the easiest pickups for me to look at personally. Now, obviously, everyone has their own pickup points that they look for first, but the 9 and 0 are my pickup points for me.
Makes sense. And on something like this, I think we see it pretty clearly. You can
Mm-hmm.
also see it a little bit in the
And the
ribbon.
ribbon?
But, how are you thinking about, like, should I grade this, or should I just leave it, in the proof set, or should I leave it, should I crack it out? Like,
So, one big thing for me, at least when it comes to the modern varieties, I will leave them in the proof set until I'm certain, for one, that it is what I think it is, and two, that there isn't as much out there, and realizing that if I think it'll at least 69 deep cameo, then I have a good chance of making a decent margin on them.
okay, that makes sense, because the variety attribution is not a cheap
It's
service.
not cheap, no.
And but do you then, in terms of when you go to sell, is this sort of eBay material, or is there a good wholesale market on this?
Yeah, I would say it's more of a retail friendly coin, just because varieties in general still are kind of like a small niche, and it could take a little longer to try and find someone who needs this coin, and especially because at least these particular coins are a little more rare to find. You could be spending up to $500 to $700 on a coin for a modern quarter that most people may just overlook as it's just a proof quarter.
Yeah, no, completely. Well, any other comments? I was gonna maybe ask you about the 1990 No S, but anything else you'd want to say before we move to that?
No, I just would like to say thank you for the nickel.
Yeah, exactly. No, and I was again glad. Like, here I get to then make a cool video about it. And those ones obviously less common. This
Right.
one really also uncommon, but maybe much wider known. The 1990 No S.
Yeah, so this is one that, you could get a group of stuff from a wholesaler, from, a coin shop, anything like that. And most dealers are looking for the No S penny because it's one of the most recognized varieties, just like the 1955 double die, the No S nickels on the 83 proof set, stuff like that. Those are really well known, so usually they get picked through.
And so, much clearer. Some people will, comment and say, I have a 1990 No S, but here's the sort of
Yeah.
proof contrast. This is a multi-$1,000 coin. What sort of pricing do you expect on a find like this?
So realistically speaking, I think I would expect to get at least 5,000 for it, and that's with the coin still being in the set. One thing that I've personally been struggling with is knowing that I have the 1990 quarter and nickel double die, which are the other two varieties for the set. Do I break this out, or do I keep it in the holder and maybe another day I'll find another one?
Yeah. Now, on this sort of thing, would you try to retail it or wholesale it, do you think?
I would probably retail it, just because I know it's such a major variety that, the general public would probably know about and would like. And I think I would rather it get into someone's hands who absolutely wants it and has been looking for it than shipping it off to a wholesaler and who knows what happens to it then.
Yeah. I think, one thing I was also considering is like grading. You're leaving it in the set. Here we see, the nickel came back 68. This came back 69. Do you have a lot of experience with sort of, can you guess and predict the grade pretty well on this sort of material?
I would like to think that I can, especially on this penny. I would love for it to go a 69 deep cameo, which I think it would, but the big difference between a 69 and a 68 are a few thousand. So to me right now, I'm just not ready to break it out and take the risk on it, because I would also like to have the nickel be a 69 as well, so I can make a set of it. But for the time being, it's gonna sit in the proof set.
Yeah, no, super cool. And I think these things, I assume, gone through thousands, maybe tens of thousands. But technically, all of these are out there. Here's
are out
everything
there.
you can look for.
Yeah. And for the 90 No S proof set, I mean, again, I've gone through thousands of sets. This is the only one I've ever found. But they are out there, and sometimes they get overlooked. And even dealers sending stuff, they may overlook it or miss it, and that's how it happens.
Awesome. Well, great to talk to the expert in person on Treasure Town. I think we're going to talk through a few other coins that you've found, and look forward to bringing more variety content on Treasure Town.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Christian.
Thanks for watching the video. Be sure to like, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to Treasure Town, and get in touch with me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Also, check out my website, treasuretowncoins.com, for news and updates related to the channel and collectibles in general. Lastly, there's a link tree in the description with links to all of my other sites as well as some affiliate links that can support the channel. But with that being said, have a great day, and I'll hope to see you on some of my videos in the future.